What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Xioxis, and today we're going to be talking about, or not talking about, but we're going to be ranking the 5 festival units in the game from worst to best, or probably from best to worst. Obviously, that makes the most sense. Um, so yeah, now that Assault's in the game, and ever since him and Escanor dropped, Assault and Escanor dropped, it's like for a festival unit, there's high expectations, I guess. So I think it's only right that we rank this properly. So. In first place for best festival unit, it was kind of hard because this is in general, right? So in terms of in general, I think I'm gonna have to give it to Goddess Liz. Now, before y'all go be like blue hitter, like just before you guys do that, in general, I do think she is the best. And when I say in general, I mean overall usage. You can use her anywhere. Any and every single stage you can use her, except, or like not stage, but you can use her in every event in the game except Hell Grey and Hell Grey Demon and Hell Crimson. Yeah, those are the only places you can't use her because of her typing. But you could use her everywhere else and she's going to be useful, bro. She has this revive. This revive is a huge thing. Like, I know everybody hates it in PvP. But you gotta accept the fact in PvE and PvP, this is the best passive. It revives an ally. It legit gives them a second life. They don't go straight to the afterlife. They get a second life. Then she has a shield that nullifies all effects but rupture. And then she has the stun. And then obviously her reflect that fully heals. And then also heals when like damage is taken to the reflect. Now, I know a lot of you guys are going to be like, oh, but Assault mode has the AoE rupture, right? But that brings him to my, or now he's not really my second place actually. The one is my second place. Now, in terms of PvP, right? I do think Assault mode Meliodas is the best unit in the game. In terms of PvP, right? In terms of the entire game, I can't say he is because his passive doesn't work unless you only have demons or commandments. So I'm going to actually put him third, but I'm giving second place to Escanor. Because besides from Liz, he's like the only other festival, I guess, NLV, and yeah, NLV, where you can use them anywhere and they will be useful. Right? He gives himself a buff of all stats for 3 turns and then gives himself immunity. These two right here can fend for themselves. Right? They can fend for themselves. Right, then you have obviously the hardest hitting or the highest multiplier on a card, and then you have the highest, I guess, multiplier in a card, plus it does double damage at 6 out of 6. So like it kills 2 people at 6 out of 6. So it's like, I do think Escanor is in general, which means all around, I think he is better than Assault mode. But Assault mode is third place just because he is good with his rupture card. And he is good with his Amplify skill, right? And obviously his ultimate AoE basic stats increase. But he doesn't have a passive in PvE unless you have demons and commandments. Now, people might be like, oh, but that's so easy. A lot of the time, in story especially, one, you're not going to be able to use a lot, Meliodas a lot in story. 2, for like what, 3, 4 chapters? 3, 4, 5 chapters is all commandments there? Or all commandments and demons. Like for people who want to use Esterosa or Drawling Glocks, like you fight all commandments there, right? So you can't bring specific demons even if you wanted to bring them, right? So he is good. Like his cards, they'll be able to do something like Rupture, right? He'll be able to do something. Amplify, you can bring Arthur and Thing, right, to get this off. But for him to lose this passive, because when people read this passive, they only read this part. Right? And I don't know why, but a lot of people forget this part. This part right here, if this worked in PvE without demons and commandments, and again, I don't have a problem with the way his passive is. I think he is one of the most balanced units in the game because his passive is like this. But because he decreases defense-related stats of all enemies by 15% per hit that is upon him or an ally, and you can't use this in PvE unless you have demons or commandments, I do not think Assault mode is where Liz and Escanor is, where they can hold their own without having to, be backed up, I guess. But I'm not saying, like, I use him in PvE. Like, you can use him in PvE alone, actually. If you guys don't know, I use him in PvE alone. So if we're talking about it alone, then I would put him in first place. But if we're talking about a team, third place. Because you go second all the time. So they're going to just proc your passive and then boom, you just nuke them. That's legit what I do. And it works. So there's that. In fourth place, we have LB. Now, don't get me wrong. In PvE, he is a fantastic unit. PvP, he's a fantastic unit. Right? But it's like now, especially in the meta where we're in, this passive no longer means anything. Because I know Escanor one-shots him. Assault Mode Meliodas one-shots him. It's like, this no longer comes into play, even because, like, one, especially that, where's Assault Mode? What, he decreases defense rated stats, crit defense. Meliodas has a lot of crit defense. Or at least when he's maxed out, I'm pretty sure. When you have gear and stuff on him, he has a pretty good crit defense and stuff like that. The only issue is it gets reduced if you go against Assault. So in terms of general, I would give him fourth place just because now in the meta we're in, you're only relying on his ultimate. You're not I'm telling you guys, his level 3 and 2 don't even kill anymore. His ultimate doesn't even. I went into a PvP match with Assault Mode Meliodas, right? This guy had a 6/6 LV. He didn't kill my Assault Mode. How do you not kill a character in the game with this ultimate 6 out of 6? With 3 cards, there's no way. It's just because Assault keeps buffing up himself, right? And I guess I am comparing him to Assault because they're both the Meliodases, but in general, I would say he is, he's no longer needed, honestly. So I put him in fourth. And then obviously in last place, Festival King. I know a lot of you guys are going to be upset. But Festival King, I don't consider him a festival. I don't consider him a festival. His passive does not work unless you have Hendrickson. This passive right here is not even his passive. It's Hendrickson's passive. Right? Now, I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, but Zeuxis, Assault Mode Meliodas needs demons or commandments for his passive to work. But the thing is, you can go into PvE alone. And I promise you, if you went into PvE alone with Assault Mode and went into PvE with King and Hendrickson, Assault Mode would perform much better than King and Hendrickson. It is what it is. He would perform much more better because when he's going second and his passive is going to work alone. Right? King, you need Hendrickson. You can't go into PvE alone with King and do what Assault Mode can do. Not even close. Not by a long shot. So, there is that. I mean, he has a good ultimate at 6 out of 6. He has this release card is pretty good. But this passive, you might as well give it to Hendrickson. I don't consider this guy a festival just because his passive is not even. It's legit. It says it all right there. This passive should be called requires Hendrickson about Awakened Power. Awakened Power. How come Hendrickson? King hates Hendrickson. Why is it that the person King hates gives him Awakened Power? Like, no, sir. I'm sorry, but King is the last place. So, recap: Liz first, Escanor second, Assault third. If with the team, but if alone, I'd probably put him first. No cap. Fourth is Assault, and fifth is King. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think. And yeah, I'm Zeuxis, and I'm out. Later, peace.